Hi everybody, Terry Shadwell. Glad to be here with you today. One of the things I want to talk to you about today is the whole area of self-leadership. That is, being able to do what you need to do without anybody having to tell you what you need to do. Now that doesn't mean that within a business you don't get guidance and instructions for you to do your job properly. It means that you don't wait for someone to tell you what to do. You go and find that information so that you can move yourself further forward. Now, within your own business, we all have to be self-leaders. If you're running a business, you've got to have self-leadership already. Otherwise, your business doesn't work. There is nobody else out there who's going to come along and say, you better get out of bed today to make your business work. You need to take that self-control. And that's one of the hardest things for people to do. It's very hard for a lot of people to do. And I'll be very honest and open and say, it's hard for me. I am one of those people who, if it's raining outside, or if it looks like it's going to rain tomorrow, then I'm going to stay in bed today. But getting out to get the work done can take a lot of effort, but you'll never regret putting the effort in and getting the results. So it's very hard to actually develop that self-leadership, but I'm going to go through a few of those things. But first I want to talk to you about Winston Churchill. I've got my little notes here today because otherwise I'm going to forget. There's so much to talk about with Churchill. He did such a lot. All right. He always did what was required of him. He didn't wait for someone to come along. Churchill took a proactive stance on a whole range of different things. Yes, he had a lot of people around him to feed him information, to help him, to guide him, to do all these sorts of things. But as the Prime Minister of England, he still had to do what needed to be done, regardless of whether or not he felt like it. So that meant that every day he had to get out of bed and face up to the issues that were in front of him. And some of those were pretty big issues, and some required decisions that meant that people were going to die. So it's not a matter of saying, I don't feel like making that decision today, or I don't feel like doing that. You've got to get out of bed and take that self-leadership. Okay? So as a self-leader, he also set the example for other people. One of the things about leadership that I'm constantly talking about is the need for us to always be pushing ourselves to set the example for other people. If we don't set the example, then other people aren't going to be willing to follow you. They're not going to see what needs to be done. We always set the example. That's the whole idea behind moral authority leadership. We have done what we're telling other people to do. And if we don't do it, we don't have the right to tell them what to do. So we've got to take that stance and say that we are going to do this. We're going to move forward, and we're going to be always setting the example for other people. And if you can do that, like Churchill, then you're going to find yourself moving further forward and other people wanting to come with you. They'll see your bravery. Even though you may not see it as that, they see it as bravery because you're doing something that they don't feel that they can yet do. When Churchill stood around and said, V for victory, all these things inspired people. People who didn't feel that they had it within them now felt that they could do more because somebody else was showing them that they could do it. And that's where we've got to be, that self-leadership all the time. We may not like it, but basically we've got to do it. So how do we do this? How do we create our own sense of self-leadership? We can build ourselves up in our head, and we can listen to motivational speaks, and we can listen to a whole range of different things. But it comes down to getting some basic systems and habits in place. Now for me, I have some very basic systems, or habits, doesn't matter what you want to call them. I get up every day and I read for 20 minutes. That's it. I read. I read books on leadership, on personal growth, on a whole range of different subjects. Things that are going to grow me and that I can actually teach other people to grow with. I also then listen to audios, podcasts about various motivational speakers and ideas on how to move businesses forward. So I'm not just making things up as I go along. I'm collecting a range of information and then I'm putting it back out again. And I share this with the team of people that I'm helping to grow and develop. All these things happen, okay? Basic. Now, if I don't do that of a morning, if I don't do my 20 minutes reading and my audio, then I'm done. my day's thrown out. So having these basic things in place keep my day in check. I have a whole range of other things I need to do. Basic daily habits that if they've done, my business moves forward regardless of anything else. I grow, my business grows, the people I'm with, they grow. And so it's all these little things that we put in place, daily little steps. It's dull, it's repetitive, it's boring. But I tell you what, it works. Basic little steps. Day in, day out. Okay? So we could stand here and think, I'm going to get myself fired up. And I'm going to jump out of bed tomorrow and I'm going to be really motivated. But do you have a process in place to make sure that things are done? A to-do list is great, but we all forget to-do lists. I can look at my to-do list and never get things done. But can you actually jump out of bed tomorrow, sit down, read for 20 minutes on a book on self-leadership, on personal development? Okay? Great books like Think and Grow Rich, How to Talk to Yourself, or What to Say When You Talk to Yourself, by Shad Helmstetter. Right? Behind the camera here, I have a whole range of different books. Awaken the Giant Within by Anthony Robbins, or No Limits by one of my favorite speakers, John Maxwell. Read, learn from them. Okay? And then you're going to see yourself moving further forward, and you're going to see yourself grow and develop. So you've got to take that self-leadership to show other people what to do. And then, to get that working for you, just have a daily basic habits. Now, I have the ones I told you about. I have habits I do before I go to bed, all these sorts of things. And once they're done, I can do whatever I want. My day is now free to do other things. So these are the sorts of things you want to get sorted. Self-leadership, it comes down to your daily habits done repetitively. Not just once, but repetitively. If you can do it, you'll see a whole range of difference in your life. All right, guys. I'm Terry Shadwell. It's been great talking to you again. If you want to talk about anything else, you've got any other information you'd like to learn about, please message me. I'm always happy to talk and chat with various people. Have a great and fantastic day.